Katia Dragotis here with Tom Moore. After a Vikings win in LA 39-10 over the Los Angeles Chargers, Tom, there's 7 turnovers from the defense. I know that you're still not super happy with the defense, though. What are the areas of concern still?
Hey, I want to tell you about it, but let me talk about the good stuff. You and I just got out of the locker room, okay? That was a fun place to be when you win by 29 on the road. And strange enough, it really didn't feel like a road win at all. I mean, it was a bunch of purple out here. If there was any Charger fans, they must have been underneath us in the press box, and I think some of that was piped-in noise. I'm happy with the defense from the standpoint that they created the turnovers. I think that's a great thing. Some of them came late, but those fumbles were vitally important for this team to get on top and win. The Chargers team pretty dangerous. They really were. They were careless with the ball, especially from the fumbles. That made the big difference. Ifeadi Odenigbo, I mean, he made the difference. Kirk Cousins said it to you and I in the press conference. He said that was the turning point of the game. I agree with him. I think that's exactly what it was. What I'm most worried about is the passing attack. I was amazed that the Chargers, having so much success with the pass, went away from it in the third quarter when they had the wind advantage. They ran most of the time. I think that hurt them, but the Viking defense is really struggling in man coverage. Mike Hughes had trouble. Xavier Rhodes had trouble again. Holton Hill came in and he was up and down because he's not played much, okay, but he showed some signs there. They've got to tighten that up. They're going to go very far in the playoffs.
Yeah, that Harrison Smith interception really kind of was the spark that initially ignited that defensive force, and they really ran with it. It was a little touch and go at the first and second quarter there, so I'm glad that they pulled it together.
It was. I mean, think about it. We kept on saying it, and Kirk Cousins said it too in the postgame. They got 3s and not 7s, okay, and you can talk about that. Talk to the fans about what Kirk said about, hey, when I get those turnovers, I got to do something different with them.
Yeah, I mean, in the post-game press conference, Kirk Cousins really talked about how this team can't win with field goals alone. That's not how you win in the NFL, especially going into a playoff picture. Kirk was extremely happy with Mike Boone, as we saw.
Oh, yeah.
That was an unbelievable performance by Mike Boone. We saw at training camp his little sparks of greatness, and that was really shown on the field today, especially with Dalvin Cook going down with that shoulder injury. So hopefully he can get that back before Monday Night Football next week.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I mean, Mike Boone, you needed him today, okay? Amir Abdullah is a nice little back, but he's more of a third down back, a punt returner. I don't think he's got the body style that can hold up. So when Dalvin Cook went down and Alexander Madison wasn't here, you needed a Boone, and Boone's a slasher. A lot of people at home have no idea what he's like, but he's great out of the backfield from the catching. You saw his running ability today. So if for any reason those two guys are not back for the Packers on Monday night, Mike Boone will do just fine.
Another thing that we cannot ignore is the special teams play today. I mean, we talked about it in the pregame. The wind out here was absolutely real, and you could see it from the difference from either end of the field. So really, those punts were unbelievable. I know you talked to the punter in the locker room. What did he have to say?
Well, what he talked about is he always gives the credit to somebody else, okay? Always about his guys getting down there and make sure that they got the ball before it hit in the end zone. But he put that ball there. And you and I were talking about it during the game. This is not a bad place to punt. They needed to get a little bit better field position, punting into the wind, try to pin the Chargers so they can't get points before the end of the half. He not only did that, a couple of plays later, the Viking defense got the fumble, and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He has an amazing ability to get that thing to drop inside the 10 and stop. He doesn't have any punts inside hitting the end zone this year. That's amazing for any punter. You talk about the special teams. We talked to Dan Bailey. Nobody wants to talk about missing an extra point. But one thing we noticed today, we told everybody on Twitter and social media, we told them this wind is a problem, okay? It was 20 miles an hour, it gusted 25 miles an hour, and it was swirling inside the stadium. And he said that one extra point he missed, he said, I hit it well. He said, some things you just can't control. And I think that's the truth. It was a very odd win today.
I think over anything, they needed this confidence going into Monday Night Football against the Packers, something that's going to be a huge contender going into this playoff picture. Great things. Rams lost today.
Yeah.
Puts us in an awesome position going into next week as well. They just got to roll. They got to make it happen next week on Monday night.
Boy, they do. And I tell you what, Kirk Cousins has done such a great job dispelling all those myths about he can't win a big game. This was a big game today. They lose this game and potentially the Rams win, they lose control of their destiny. Now they have it again. They still need to win because if they lose 2 and the Rams win 2, the Rams go. So this is really important that they beat the Packers. If they happen to win the North, all the better. They need to get on a roll, and specifically, as we talked about, get that defense under control, get healthy where they've got injuries right now.
Absolutely. All right, from Los Angeles, Katia Dragotis, Tom Moore.